Back into the XL Center, NBC News political director Chuck Todd is back with us. And all right, we've heard a lot of praise of this speech, but Michael Gerson, of the Post and formerly a Bush speechwriter, was, I thought, unusually critical. Said that it was neither innovative nor interesting, nor the right speech for that crowd or the crowd watching. Where does the truth lie? Any idea?
Well, look, that was a very tough assessment, and when he said it, you know, it's funny, I had circled this one part of the speech where he talked about if a Democrat has a good idea, I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican, if it's a good idea, we're going to do it. And it struck me when I was reading it at the time, I'd been reading ahead while he was giving the speech, I thought, boy, this would have been a good time to actually talk about the idea, a Democratic idea that you would want to propose or promote if elected. And he didn't there. And then when I heard Michael Gerson say what he said when he said, well, why was the policy proposals that he did offer, why did they sound so generically Republican, and why didn't he have something new? That was, like I said, that was a very interesting critique, and it does make you wonder, look, this convention is not going to be remembered for this acceptance speech. This convention is going to be remembered for Sarah Palin. I mean, the two biggest applause lines tonight in McCain's speech was when he mentioned Sarah Palin, and then when she walked out, this place erupted. And so this was definitely Sarah Palin's convention. John McCain is being cheered for having the guts or the foresight to pick her and to sort of anoint her as the heir apparent. But look, the McCain campaign would fully acknowledge they weren't going to win this in a speech-making contest, and they're very glad we don't have a succession of election nights. Keith, as you remember during the primary season, and we would sit there and go back and forth, and we would see Obama give these victory speeches, and then they would show McCain giving an alternative speech that night. It wasn't necessarily a victory, but he would just be moving along while he was waiting for his Democratic opponent. We would say it's a good thing for McCain the general election isn't going to be held in a series of successive 8 weeks or something like that, where every Tuesday the nation tuned in to compare and contrast the two speeches. One other point on this, our producer of this, John Reese, was pointing out he was surprised there was no humor in this speech.
Yep.
And that's usually a John McCain trademark. So, look, it almost felt like he said he had to give this speech. He knew he had to get through it. And now that he's done, I have a feeling he's almost going to be relieved that this is behind him, and he'll look more forward to the debates and engagement rather than do what he did here. Look, he tried to be a change agent tonight, said the word change 10 times, said the word fight 25 times, said only experience 3 times. So the message obviously was a fighter for change with a little bit of experience thrown in. I don't know if that's how it'll be received, but it may not matter. Sarah Palin is providing the makeover that he needed. Keith?
And Chuck, one technical thing that may have appeared on television, and it harkens back to those early speeches that we talked about, specifically the first big one that he gave in contrast to an Obama speech, where he appeared behind or in front of a very poorly chosen green flat, a backdrop behind him. On television early in this speech, it looked like they'd done that again. In fact, it was such a tight shot of Senator McCain against that giant video screen, which was showing fields of grass, that it looked like just a plain green screen, and later on it looked like just a plain blue screen, as we're seeing some of the mechanics of this process. The blue screen was the sky around a flapping American flag. So sometimes what works in a hall doesn't work too well on TV.